It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and happy Monday to you. I'm Anastasia Palicious.
Good morning, I'm Philip Simon.
And it is a pleasure to have you with us on Bahamas at Sunrise this morning. Certainly hope that you enjoyed the weekend.
Had a pretty good weekend, actually. The weather was nice, thanks to Godfrey. Just one day of rain. But really good weekend, not enough sleep.
Yeah.
And here we go again, another
Here
week.
we go again, another week. Well, I apologize if my voice sounds a bit off this morning. I'm actually fighting a little something.
That's been
in the
going
air.
around. And in fact, we've had some persons in the office, fighting that as well. We got Kyle Smith. He really does look like Steph Curry here behind the camera. But welcome back, Kyle. But yeah, it's been
floating around. And I honestly don't encourage people to go into work with it. Obviously, we have a set of different circumstances. It's hard to find somebody at 4:30 in the morning to fill in for you. So here I am, keeping a good distance from Phil and everybody else. But certainly, if you're not feeling well, we want you to stay in or try to get this thing to stop spreading as much as possible. But certainly, we've got a great show lined up for you today, and it really, really is a good show, entertaining and informative, and everything all mixed into one.
Yeah, and we're very happy, as always, for you joining us here on Bahamas at Sunrise. The Ministry of Tourism is here to promote the True Bahamian Festival. That's upcoming this weekend, of course. And the Music Project, they've come such a long way, man. I'm such a fan of that project. I believe Andrew's also here today to talk about that.
Okay.
But they'll be in the house to talk about what's happening later this month. And of course, the Chan Pratt Art Foundation exhibit and reception is also happening this week. It's getting busy.
Yeah, man.
It's been busy.
It's been busy for a while, but always those things we're looking forward to annually now. Again, and not annually, but at least once a month, we have Providence Law Chamber come in and join us, and so Merit Straw will be back again today. I'm always happy to talk to my good friend Galvin Bowe. He's going to be with us. We're talking about
I call him Mr. President.
Mr. President of everything, right? But we're talking about those labor results from the survey that they had recently. Learning more from you on how that impacts the economy. And then, of course, we're still getting ready for our Valentine's Day show, and we're still looking forward to doing that dating contest game with you.
Come on, man. Let us hook you up.
Let's hook you all the way up. You see how happy Phil and I are? You want to be happy too? Send us your photo at sparker@tclbahamas.com. That's sparker@tclbahamas.com. Please include for us your name, your telephone contact, your age, and then, of course, a brief profile on you. And then we're going to try to hook you all the way up with our dating game. That's sparker@tclbahamas.com. So we've got all that ahead for you and more. But first, we're going to take a look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather sunrise. We wake up to a breezy one this morning. We do have a developing low-pressure area just to the north of Grand Bahama and Bimini, moving towards the north. A trailing cold front should move through that area sometime early this morning and then to the Providence area by afternoon. Those winds will sustain until afternoon, and we expect some decrease in those winds coming late evening. In your weather today, we're looking at variable cloudiness with breezy, some strong breezes with a few showers, mainly across the northwest and central Bahamas. Your high temperature reaching 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, 1 or 2 lingering showers around, particularly with the central and southeastern islands. The low temperature going down to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 79 and 73. In Jamaica 76 and 70. In Trinidad 85 and 72. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 76 and 66. Across North America, Atlanta 55 and 29. In Raleigh 53 and 33. In Miami 71 and 57. Dallas, Texas 59 and 43. And Toronto, Canada 30 and 08. As we go to the next 5 days, that formal boundary should move into central Bahamas tonight. and that'll make way for some pretty good weather over the northwest Bahamas over the next several days, although we have another front that should merge with that sometime on Wednesday. But for the most part during the week, we're looking at partly sunny skies. Those winds will decrease. Those winds will be around 10 to 15 knots starting on Tuesday. Temperature daytime will be in the mid-upper 70s daytime, the upper 50s to lower 60s at nighttime. That puts a wrap on your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Well, I hope the weather is going to be great this weekend because, of course, we're looking forward to the True Bahamian Festival at John Watling's Distillery. It's certainly a weekend that we've come to know and love. And we love it because they've got some of the very best Bahamian vendors there highlighting their fantastic products. And I'm bringing two of them to you this morning. Very happy to welcome Anwar Knowles from Bahama Brew and Calais Oliver from Octis Organics. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have you guys with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, have you always been with True Bahamian Festival?
I've been there 3 out of the 4 years.
3 out of the 4 years. And what about you?
I've been there from they started.
From they started.
Yes.
And the festival is growing, right, over the years?
It has.
Okay. And then obviously we get the opportunity to see all the products that you guys have. There's good music, there's good food, there's good entertainment. But really the idea is that we want Bahamians to know exactly what's happening in the market as relates to the things Bahamians have. So I want to see some of the products that you have today. And Calais, I'm going to get started with you. You've got spices and bush teas, right?
We do.
All right, so talk to me about your company and what it is that you do.
Well, we are a full organic-based company.
Okay.
We started with salt.
Okay.
We make actually the most salt in the Bahamas.
Okay.
So our salt is the highest grade salt worldwide, 80 minerals and trace minerals. So you could be
Nice.
hypertensive, diabetic, and you could use it. And there's no nothing. You get no reaction to it.
Okay.
And we have now converted. We use the seasonings.
Uh-huh.
We make the seasoning from the salt, and then we started making the salt scrubs. And
Okay.
we have the salt baths.
Okay, now I see you got Calais gourmet pepper sauce now. Let's have a conversation about the pepper sauce. My husband is man like to eat pepper, so talk to me about what's happening with your pepper
Now our
sauce.
pepper sauces, we actually have a pepper sauce and a hot sauce.
Okay,
Two different flavors.
okay,
One of them, our pepper sauce started. I always made pepper. I'm a pepper lover.
Okay.
I always made pepper sauce, and the manager at Princess Keys, I went to go and carry an order to them, and he said to me, "Why don't you bring, why didn't you bring the pepper sauce with you?" And I'm like, "I didn't do this. I don't do that for sale."
Uh-huh.
It's like, no, you got to sell that.
okay,
And so I started actually producing it for them.
okay,
Just the gourmet pepper sauce. And we
Uh-huh.
put everything, and then it has okra, onions, sweet peppers, everything.
okay.
And
it
then the
sounds good,
hot
man.
sauce
Uh-huh.
is a herbal base
Okay.
along with the pepper.
All right, and so we can buy them. I see that you've got a grouping setting together there where you can buy 3 packs as one, or you can buy them individually, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and of
Yes.
course, all of these things are on sale at the True Bahamian Festival this weekend. In addition to that, Anwar Knowles has got some brews here for us. Anwar, talk to me
Yes.
about the drinks that we see.
Well, right here we have our plant-based iced teas,
Okay.
inspired by my culinary background.
Okay.
And, I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and also my love for iced teas.
Okay, so I didn't know you had a culinary background, so talk me through
Yes.
that.
Well, I did an apprenticeship at the Radisson Hotel for 3 years.
Okay.
I didn't stay in the industry long because working in the industry wasn't going too well with my personal life, so I put that down for a bit. But I still have the passion
Okay.
for the culinary field.
Okay, so that passion for the culinary field, and of course in the culinary field, there's this idea of service and giving people the best.
Yes.
And so obviously we have that here with these teas, right?
Yes.
Are there different flavors of the teas?
There are 4 flavors that I produce now. We have
Okay.
tamarind, fever grass, ginger, and soursop.
Oh, nice, man. I would
Yes.
try that tamarind. That sounds like my type of thing.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you'll be there at the festival this weekend, so people can purchase them for you. How much does a bottle normally sell for?
I manufacture them and I sell them wholesale.
Okay.
I don't do any retailing.
Okay.
I distribute them to different stores throughout the island, and they retail them in their coolers.
Okay. But this weekend we could buy them though from you.
Yes, you can get them
so
directly
you got
from me.
you got a special this weekend if you come out to that True Bahamian Festival at John Watling's Distillery. Calais, I'm going to come back to you. I want to talk to you about the skincare products because it's one thing for us to do the thing with seasoning our food, but let's talk about how you've turned these into scrubs and what does a scrub actually do for the skin?
Oh, our scrubs are divine.
Okay.
I will tell you. I mean, not just because I actually use them all the time.
Okay.
I have no marks.
Yeah, no, I mean, her skin is flawless,
Anything?
guys. I don't know if y'all can see this. Is a pretty lady right here, right?
Thank you. Our scrubs, we have them based with salt, coconut oil,
Okay.
and then we use coconut milk
Okay.
in them. they actually make you feel like silk when you're finished.
Okay.
Yeah, we can turn any rough man hand over into anything. There's nothing that could stop you from actually turning into a silk bunny. You know, I've had men who would say, oh, no, I don't want to say, but your wife will actually love you when you touch her.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So they
yeah.
get into it and they love it.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So we've got that. And then I see you have a sponge here, which is a natural sponge,
Yes,
right?
we combined our company with other Bahamian products.
Okay.
Andrew Burroughs, Sponge Bahamas.
Yes.
We actually get sponge from him and we produce a product where we combine our skincare line along with his skincare line. Even our soaps
Okay.
are produced by somebody else.
Okay.
But she makes a special brand of coconut soap and the lemongrass and charcoal specifically for our company.
That's amazing, man. I love to hear the fact that there's like this collaboration between different
Definitely.
Bahamian brands to make things happen. And you have teas as well, right?
Yes, we carry a full line of bush teas in the boxes. They're in tea bag, and we have them individual tea bag. We'll have them out for the weekend.
Okay.
So we're like him. We don't sell retail. We only sell wholesale. But this weekend we'll be doing it
This
on
weekend you
wholesale.
get the special. So what time does it get started out there on Saturday and Sunday at the True True Bohemian Festival?
I think it's
10. It starts at 10 in the morning.
10 in the
On
morning.
Saturday it goes until 8, and
Okay.
Sunday it ends at 6.
Okay, so 10 to 8 on Saturday and then 10 to 6 on Sunday. And of
Correct.
course, you're going to get some special deals because these people will actually be there with these products that you can buy individually from them. That does not happen often, so this is a very special deal. Anwar, before you go, I wanted to just find out from you the kind of energy and effort it takes to just keep putting your heart into something. Because I know that there are tons of Bahamians that have a desire to sell, but maybe you have no idea where to start or how to get started or even to stay motivated. So what's needed to really be an entrepreneur doing something that you love that is Bahamian?
Well, first of all, you have to set a goal. You need a vision for where you want to go, because you will get points where you want to give up,
Okay.
and you need that vision to keep you driven. And a lot of it comes from support that you have and people encouraging you along the way. Those play a big factor in keeping going.
All right, and how has the ministry's organization of this festival kind of been one of those support systems
Yes,
that have done
I
that?
must say that the organizers of this festival are doing a great job.
All right.
A great job.
Yeah, listen, I'm so happy to meet both of you. Love to see Bahamian entrepreneurs doing different things, and then of course following their passion. And so we're just grateful that you joined us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. We know that only good things happen when you come on Bahamas at Sunrise. So everything will be sold out this weekend because they're going to make sure that they show up and do that for you. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening.
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. I telling you he's been on all type shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with RevGo Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. They say 3 times a charm. This is the 3rd anniversary of the annual Music Project High School Pop Band Competition. So very pleased to be joined in studio this morning by the project manager for the music project, Miss Raquel Pinder.
Good morning.
And of course, the man himself. He was here the first year when they started out. Of course, Andrew Knowles Jr., founder?
Gardner Jr.
Gardner, sorry.
Yes.
Andrew Gardner Jr.
That's fine.
Founder.
And founder and president, yes, sir.
All right. Well,
Yes.
Andrew Knowles must be calling my name this morning. But welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be
Welcome
here.
back home.
Right. Thank
Welcome
you,
back
thank
home.
you.
You've been just all about doing your thing, and of course, Music Project is still very close to your heart. So I'm sure Raquel those are happy to kind of have you around. Of course.
Yeah, man. It's so exciting to be back home.
Yeah.
I just finished my tenure at Berkeley.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta right now producing, writing for artists and basically building this project, which I'm so excited to, just continue to grow and elevate each year.
Well, tell us a little bit about, what was the original thinking and mission behind?
Oh, so the music project, the original mission, really it started from a conversation with my mother and I. We were just talking about, how can we impact youth in the Bahamas, but through what we do, which is music.
Yeah.
And through long conversation and development, the music project came out and we basically wanted to create a program where we develop, encourage youth participation within the art of music and basically pair mentors, professional music industry personnel with these students in these schools and help them develop their craft. So the next wave can easily transition into the music industry and be knowledgeable and be just ready for what the world has for them.
And that's why I guess it was important to really start in the high schools.
Exactly.
High schools.
Yes.
Last year, this thing has certainly evolved over the years. It's hard to believe it's only year 3. But tell us a little bit about last year's competition. And of course, the winning band enjoyed their a week stint at Berkeley, right?
Yes. Yeah. So last year, the champions were from Queens College Thrive 2.0, and they were the champions. Second place was out of Freeport, Grand Bahama, and third place was St. John's College, who came first in the first year. And so Queens College had an excellent time at Berkeley. Of course, Carrington McKenzie, he shined bright like a diamond.
Yes.
And so they were even able to extend to him a scholarship, a 4-year scholarship to Berkeley College of Music. So, yeah.
Is that where he's going?
That's not normal. Yeah, he's going
He's going to go, okay.
I'm telling you, as a graduate from there, that's not a normal thing to get a fully paid 4-year scholarship. So that just speaks to the talent that we have here in the Bahamas.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're so excited and we're so proud. These are the kinds of opportunities that the Music Project presents to high school students. And so even though, when I go into the high schools, they don't have all the instruments, they don't have all of the equipment, but because these kids are so hungry and the opportunity is so great, they use what they have, and of course it pays off.
Yeah. So tell us, I can feel the excitement. Tell us what's up for this year's competition.
So this year we have 4 islands participating. This is the most islands we have participating. So we have obviously New Providence, schools from New Providence.
That'll make it 5 then.
Well, 5, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sure, from Freeport, Grand Bahama, Exuma, also Bimini, and Andros.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the point. Something that we wanted to make sure emphasize that we wanted to include the entire Bahamas and not just New Providence, because people in the Family Islands be like, they leave us out and all that stuff. No, this is open for everybody, for all schools, whether it be private, government, home schools. This project is for everybody.
Is registration still open for it? No, it's closed.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
So how many schools do we have? How many schools?
We have
12
schools. 12 schools, and we are so proud that out of these 12 schools, we have some Christian schools. And so, that's not usually something that they participate in, but we want them to know that any genre of music is accepted at the Music Project, and we want them to be able to display those talents on a world-class stage.
Excellent. A big part of this is the inclusion or the collaboration with mentors.
Yes.
Who do you have lined up this year?
Oh, so we have all the names that we could think of, from the Wendy's to the Dysons, the Sanovias, even from legends like Nehemiah Hill and the Bahama and Zaya, those guys who's been on the Grammy stage and been around the world. They know what it is to, take that talent to the next level.
Wow.
So,
wow.
yeah.
And that's such an important link to the success of this program, having them to be exposed to, like you say, such legends of the industry, and to learn some of the tricks of the trade.
Exactly.
To learn some of the tricks of the trade. Can you share who some of those high schools are?
Sure. So some of the high schools this year is Aquinas College. We have C.W. Saunders, R.M. Bailey. We have Queens College is returning. We have Gateway Christian Academy out of Bimini. We have Central Andros All-Age School out of Andros. We have St. George's out of Grand Bahama. And then we have out of Exuma, Ellen Coakley. We also have a homeschool, which is Noble Preparatory this year. And so NCA is going to be on board. So we have 12 schools from 5 islands that's going to hit a world-class stage, and it's going to be epic.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be epic. So tell us, what can people expect? It's on the 16th, of course.
Yes, it's on the 16th. It's at Botanical Gardens. It's a full-day event. We're going from 2 p.m. all the way to 10 p.m.
Wow.
And when I tell you this, the environment is just exciting.
Yeah.
And it's filled with Bahamian pride. People are coming out supporting their schools. You know, some people you see wearing their old school T-shirts, high school
You mean if
T-shirts.
they could get it on?
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? But it's just a sense of pride from the school pride to the Bahamian pride, and everybody's just excited just to cheer on their family member or friend. Oh, that's my friend on stage. You know what I mean? So, exactly. So it's just a fun-filled environment. And this year, we have some special performances. One being, we have a melody of Bahamian artists. So I don't want to release, we don't want to release the names yet, but let's say that the top Bahamian artists, they're all coming together and doing a special performance for TMP. And then also myself, I'll be performing for the students and everybody as well.
Excellent, man. Excellent. So that's the 16th of February, Botanical Gardens. Is there a cost?
Yes.
Okay.
So tickets go on sale today. You can get them at Airbrush Junkies and all participating schools. Also the Zamar Group of Companies corporate office on Marathon Road. Tickets are $10 for students, $15 for adults, and children under 5 are free.
All right. I know we're expecting much more than the 2,000 last year, right?
Exactly, right.
Listen, thank you so much. I mean, looking forward to it. Like I said, my size is an extra large of these T-shirts. Andrew, Raquel, listen, thanks for being here on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure.
Watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been talking about the music project. We'll be right back.
WTO memberships will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
My name is Regilio Bethel. My position on board Equinox is mate, relief captain. I must say that during our travels and journeys throughout the Exuma Keys, we've had a few dark or dead spots. Basically, there was no service. They were just dark spots. We would basically be dead ship out in the cold without any communication. And it's been like that for years, and we've gotten used to it. But life has now provided us with a service which we can stay communicated during our entire voyages. And I've been waiting for Live to bring their service up to full more coverage throughout the Bahamas, which they've done in an amazing amount of time. So yeah, I would encourage them all to get that service. It's an awesome service, no interruptions, and it's awesome.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. The Chan Pratt Inspiration Art Exhibition and Cocktail Reception is coming up this Thursday in aid of the Chan Pratt Memorial Art Scholarship Endowment Fund at the University of the Bahamas. Keeping his father's vision alive is DeWitt Chan Pratt, the founder of the Chan Pratt Foundation, who is here to tell us more about it. Good morning, Mr. Pratt, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure to have you with us. Certainly been seeing a lot about the Chan Pratt Foundation over the last few years. How many years has it been now?
Well, we launched in October of 2015.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're going into 4 years.
Into 4 years,
Yeah.
into 4 years. And has it grown throughout that time, the vision and the...
It has. It
Okay.
has. Like you said, you've seen a lot of activity happen over the years.
What was the original vision behind it? When you decided this is something that you wanted to do almost 4 years ago, What led you to say now is the time to create this foundation?
Well, one, I felt that he wasn't getting the credibility that he deserved.
Okay.
And so I took it upon myself to continue his legacy, and that's where the vision for the Chan Pratt Foundation started.
Okay, okay. And when you talk about his legacy, talk to me about some of the work that he's done in the past that you felt really deserved to be honored and respected and memorialized in a foundation like this one.
Well, it's not so much just his particular work, it's the movement that he started. He was
Okay.
one of the first full-time Bahamian artists, and that started a wave of Bahamian artists who then looked at art as a source of employment.
Okay.
He also had a painting that's sat in the White House, that's now in the Clinton Presidential Library.
Okay.
He's collected not just nationally but internationally as well by Bahamian dignitaries, diplomats, and he's a household name in the art industry.
Okay.
So I just felt that he should be remembered for what he has done and what he's contributed to the art industry.
That's amazing. And then you've taken that and turned that into this opportunity at UB. When you started 4 years ago, did you originally start with the Memorial Scholarship as well?
No, I didn't start originally with it because
Okay.
I was looking for a way, well, the best option or direction to take it. And then after consulting with people in the industry, with close friends, I thought that this would be the most appropriate.
Okay.
Also, a lot of it comes, I guess, from learning along the way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
for me, I thought that this way would be the best way to give back or to help
Upcoming artists.
upcoming artists and art
Yeah.
students.
So will this be the first time you're giving the scholarship, or you've given the scholarship previously?
Well, we haven't awarded a scholarship as yet.
Okay.
Last year was the first time we had a call for applicants.
Okay.
Unfortunately, none of the applicants met the criteria.
Okay.
So this year we're hoping to tweak it a bit, but also we hope that more students will apply and be in the running for the scholarship.
How can they apply?
Well, we put out a call for applicants. They can apply to the University of the Bahamas.
Okay.
They have to be full-time art students, and they have to submit a portfolio, an essay, as well as their credentials.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the brightest and the best.
Okay. Okay. And I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Certainly you want them to represent his legacy well, and so it requires that.
It requires that also, but we also look to, we need young, fresh ideas and people to help the foundation grow, which is
Okay.
why I'm reaching out to younger artists and young art students. So again, the art students who apply or who are granted the scholarship, we hope to then utilize them to help the foundation grow and to help give back.
Okay.
So we're not just
Giving
doing
a
a
scholarship,
one-off thing.
yeah.
No,
This is a relationship.
Exactly, and we want to invest in those who take this particular craft or this career seriously, as well as those who can contribute to the foundation and to the movement.
Excellent. And then in terms of the foundation and the movement, I remember when you got started, this idea of this reception that you had, that was certainly an opportunity for artists and people that enjoy the arts to get together. So when and where will the art exhibition and cocktail reception take place this year?
It will take place at Zapadilla. That's
Okay.
our flagship. That's our flagship venue.
Okay.
It's this Thursday, January 31st, from 7 to 10 p.m.
Okay. And then will there be artworks on display? Will there be artworks to be purchased? Talk to me about how that will actually work.
So there will be artworks on display. The theme is, of course, the Chan Pratt inspiration.
Okay.
This year we're going with recreating Old Nassau.
Okay.
And so we're using our artists, it's a variety of mediums, whether it be realism, contemporary, abstract photography, and they're putting their own spin on it. And
Okay.
so the artists that are featured, their works will be for sale. We'll also have Jamal Rule, who will be doing a live painting.
Nice.
We also will be unveiling some partnerships that I've created with Bahamas Footwear as well as Bryland Luxury wear.
Okay.
And so we're doing a limited edition Chan Pratt shoes as well as Chan Pratt inspired tees to help raise funds for the scholarship fund and the foundation.
Excellent. And then obviously, certainly the money spent in coming to the cocktail reception would be going back to the foundation as well.
Exactly.
And what are the costs of the tickets?
The tickets are $100 pre-sale, and that's wine, food inclusive, as well as entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's $125 at the door.
Okay.
And tickets can be purchased at the National Art Gallery.
Okay, so tickets can be purchased at the National Art Gallery, $100 in advance, and of course, like you said, wine, food, entertainment, obviously a great night celebrating Chan Pratt, and then the money is going to something that, of course, is an excellent cause, and then $125 at the door. But we want people to buy in advance. So get on down to the National Art Gallery and do that for us.
And we want people to buy in advance, but honestly, the tickets are moving.
They're moving.
So I can't make any guarantee
that any will be
able
left.
to find the pre-sale tickets, but
right.
you know, it's a good sign.
How can we follow you and keep up with you and everything that's happening with the foundation? Do you have a website? Are you online anywhere?
We have a website. It's chanprattfoundation.org. Our social media handles are on Instagram, Chan Pratt Foundation, as well as Facebook, it's Chan Pratt Foundation.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Pratt. Certainly so happy to see this vision flourish over these past 4 years. Looking forward to more that is to come in the future. And you finally made it to Bahamas at sunrise, so we know you're only going to go up from here because only good things happen when you come on. So thanks again for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, where we intend to keep legacies alive and we help to build them here. We're going to be back with more right after this commercial break.
WTO membership will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
Gatorade, fruit punch, lemon lime, and orange. 64 ounce, $3.39 at Solomon's.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday. We hope that you're enjoying the show so far.
I am. I you know me, and when it comes to youth, didn't get a chance to do that segment this morning. But the music project, you know, I think you did the first one when they started 3 years ago. I was just talking with Andrew and Raquel afterwards. You know, they have 3 international judges, so we didn't get to say that. They have 3 local judges, and you know, just looking forward, I mean, to these, I don't want to call them kids, but these students, these young adults performing at the highest levels, man. They got talent that I never had.
It's amazing. It's just so amazing. And I just hope people see all the opportunities that are available to us today and to just try to do their best to pursue the things that bring them joy, while realizing that there are ways to be financially compensated for those things.
That's right. And in addition to that, I mean, they mentioned that Carrington got a full 4-year fully funded scholarship to Berkeley. Yeah.
And at Berkeley University, which is crazy,
dollars,
right?
That's dollars.
But Carrington certainly has a brilliant voice.
He's talented.
And you remember we would have worked with the St. John's group when they were in the first year. Had them come out to the Fort Bay Town Center and perform. And so certainly a wonderful initiative.
That bass player, man, from St. John's.
He just would be right there stringing. But congratulations to my good friend and Sora Kayandra, who launched that initiative several years ago. Certainly wonderful to see visions come to life. We've got more to come in the second half of the show. We're going to be talking with Gawain Bow more on that labor survey for you, and we still have more in addition to that.
Yeah, on our legal aid segment, of course, with Providence Law. Legal affairs. Boy, sometimes we're just too legal, but anyway, it's always good when they come on the show to kind of set us straight. They break it down.
Like they
do a really good job of breaking it down, Merritt and Nadia, of course. So we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to this week, actually.
Yeah, looking forward to the week. It started out very windy this morning, and I'm sure Godfrey's going to give us an update on what that weather looks like throughout the week. So here he is now with our second look at weather, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Stan. Good morning, Bahamas. In our second look at weather at sunrise, we have developing low pressure moving towards the north, and a trailing cold front is causing all the windy conditions across the islands. So we have a special warning to all your marine interests, particularly small craft operators, to remain out of marine in port, and also you beachgoers remain out of the sea because of the high risk of recurrence and dangerous ones along the northern shore in particular over the next 24 to 36 hours. In your marine forecast, winds today west to northwest at 20 to 30 knots, gusting to gale force, seas 8 to 12 feet. Those winds will start decreasing by late evening to northwest to north at 15 to 25 knots, seas 4 to 8 feet. Over the central and southeastern islands, those winds southeast to south at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. On Tuesday, those winds are going west to northwest at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over northwest and central Bahamas. Southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, those winds northwest to north at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet northwest Bahamas. Northerly at 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at minutes past 8 this morning. Next high tide will be 1:55 this afternoon. Low again this evening at 8:14. Sunset at 5:50 this evening, rises tomorrow morning at 6:54. UV index 7. Your water temperature 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase last quarter. Extended look, cold front moves through. A second front moves through on Wednesday. That will merge with the one in the central Bahamas around the Exumas on Thursday. Behind that builds a high pressure area. So for the most part, a lovely weekend store weather-wise with some cooler temperatures. The temperature daytime will be in the mid to upper 70 daytime, the upper 50 to lower 60s at nighttime. That what to wrap in your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. In this segment, legal aid, wills, trusts, and power of attorney. I think this all fits in with our New Year's resolutions and goals for 2019 and beyond. We welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, the managing partner for Providence Law, Merit Store, and the lovely Nadia Wright, also a partner there at Providence Law. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
A
Year.
little late,
Happy
but
New
Happy New Year.
It's still in January.
I know, right? So we're talking this morning about something that really a lot of people just probably don't participate as much in. But let's start at the very beginning and what's really the definition. The obvious question is, what is a will? Why is it good to have one? And execute.
Yes. Well, a will is a document by which a person can lay out in legal form their wishes for their property and how it is to be distributed after they pass away.
Okay.
The form of it is it has to be in writing. The person who is preparing it will sign it, and they must sign it in the presence of two witnesses, two independent witnesses. So if you're a witness, you cannot benefit under the will.
Okay.
And you should also name an executor or somebody who will be responsible to administer the estate.
Okay, all right. So if you do not have a will, Nadia, what determines how your assets and estates will be managed? And of course, we know that the oldest son, I mean, that's what you always hear, the oldest son will inherit everything. Is that correct?
Well, the person that dies without a will is called an intestate. And the new laws, which is the Inheritance Act 2002, has abolished primogeniture, which means that the eldest son is not automatically going to inherit everything under the deceased estate. The act is very detailed, and Section 4 of the Inheritance Act outlines how assets are distributed. And so if you have a deceased who only leaves his wife, or if it's a woman who leaves her husband, no children, then that spouse inherits everything.
Right.
If it's the spouse and children, the spouse inherits 50% of the estate, and the children share in the next 50% equally. If there are only children and both of the parents have predeceased the children, then the children will share in the estate equally. And so the section outlines in detail how the assets will be distributed.
Okay, all right. Merritt, when we talk about probate, again, tell us what that is, of course, for people who, in layman's terms, and why is it necessary and why does it take so long?
Well, probate by definition is the process by which the legal authority or a legal authority verifies and proves the death first. You have to produce an original death certificate, and then also the what assets the estate has and the method by which it will be distributed. So if it's a will, the original will has to be submitted. The probate department has to be satisfied as to its legitimacy, etc. And then once all of that is done, it's signed off on by a judge. That then gives the executor or the administrator the legal authority to go to the bank or wherever the assets are and say, here, I'm officially named by the court. Here's my authority, and here's what we need to do. So it's the process of proving. Unfortunately, it's an administrative process for the most part, and in the Bahamas, it does take 3 to 6 months. For most people, that's a long time. I'm old enough to remember when it used to take a year, sometimes 2 years for whatever reason. But it's still a bit long, and so really it's a question of staffing, I think, and the manpower that's in place to really process all of the applications.
And of course, while we're alive, we can help this process along by actually legitimizing or verifying upfront what our assets may be before getting to a point like this. And you talk about administrators. I mean, a trust, I guess a trust can be defined as an administrator. What's the advantages of having one?
Well, first of all,
what is a trust?
Yeah, what is a trust? It is a legal relationship established by a trust deed, and the person that establishes the trust is the settlor, who establishes it for the benefit of beneficiaries, who could be anyone. The trust is very good in that it takes immediate effect upon the settlor establishing it. The trustee is the person or a company that manages the trust. And the beneficiaries, they are able to enjoy the benefit of the trust almost immediately, depending on the wishes of the settlor. Because the settlor could say to take effect upon the beneficiary attaining the age of 18 or 21. Other benefits include the fact that the settlor is able to separate himself or herself from the assets, and it decreases the likelihood of legal action because the beneficiaries will receive a benefit, but it is not really their business what one beneficiary receives over another, as opposed to under a will or another established benefit that a person could establish for his or her children. So yes, the trust is very much beneficial. It is not dependent upon the death of the settlor either. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a lot right there. I mean, you hear trust all the time, especially in regards to wealthy people. Can anybody execute a trust? And what's the difference between a trust and a will?
Sure. Well, I think Nadia encapsulated it pretty well. One of the primary differences is a trust comes into effect right away. Okay, with a will, you can have it prepared today. If you don't die for 15 years, it just sits there on the shelf. So it comes to life when somebody dies. A trust can come into effect immediately, or you can trigger the date that you want it to come into effect. As regards to wealthy people, obviously see the benefits because, as Nadia said, you can separate the assets from yourself. It can be managed for you, etc. And you can protect yourself actually from liability as well. Okay. But more and more typical ordinary people are using trusts because it doesn't have to be overwhelmingly expensive.
Right.
I mean, Bahamians can set up trusts. Royal Fidelity, not to promote them, but they do offer that product. I don't know anybody else who does. And so you can establish a trust for yourself. There is a fee. The main difference also is that you pay an annual fee for the trustee to manage the trust for you. A will, again, is normally a one-time thing. Once it's done, it's completed. But again, there are benefits to having a trust set up, and for some people, it works very well.
Okay, excellent.
Sorry, one last thing. You avoid probate. That's an important thing as well. And if confidentiality is important to you, then you can avoid probate. Yeah.
Another term that we hear all the time is the power of attorney. What are the benefits and the limitations related to that?
A power of attorney is a deed that allows the donor of the power to confer authority on somebody else who's the donee to carry out his wishes or her wishes upon certain eventualities occurring, for example, like physical incapacity, sickness, mental incapacity, or any other eventuality that occur that causes the donor not to be able to manage his or her day-to-day business affairs or to care for his or her children. So the power actually takes place upon the eventuality occurring. And the power ceases upon the death of the donor.
Okay, all right. There are differences in power of attorney. You have an enduring power of attorney and, of course, an ordinary power of attorney. Can you just describe and define the difference?
Well, Nadia's just describing pretty much an ordinary power of attorney. The enduring power of attorney is a unique power in that it is not impacted by the mental incapacity of a person. So an ordinary power of attorney is only for a set period of time. When it expires, if the person who established it is not mentally competent to execute a new one, then you have to go to a court, seek an application for the authority, etc. With enduring power of attorney, it just continues, okay? And it continues until you pass away. All powers of attorney end at death, because then now you're into the estate of the person, and then you're back to the will and the trust and the probate, etc.
Well, listen, they say knowledge is power. We have two very powerful attorneys here. Thank you so much for being on Legal Aid with us once again and making things so simple. Nadia smiled at that. Just take that compliment. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Lysol disinfectant spray, now $8.99 at Solomon's.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
So who really own an Nassau container port? Boss, that's easy. The government. I do.
I do. Thank you. I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. While the Department of Statistics released those labor force survey results last week, We wanted to find out what those numbers meant. So we had to call in our resident expert on all things related to the economy. Very happy to welcome Gawain Bowe, who's the president of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants and is the chairman of the Clearing Banks Association, to discuss those numbers as well as some other interesting topics happening in the financial and economic world. Good morning, Gawain, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Always a pleasure to have you with us. They said Gawain's coming. I said Gawain's coming. So, you know, I had to come and have a chat with you because I always like to talk with you about what your view is on what's happening with the economy. The survey shows a great growth in employment by 3.4% and an increase in self-employed persons by 11.9%. That's what it says. What does it mean?
Well, overall, I think persons tend to look at this is the one time I would say looking at the statistics, you have to be very careful because they're only taken twice a year. And we have ebbs and flows in our economy, and we know that. So we know that a tremendous amount of persons enter the labor force during the summer months. That's when people are graduating, whether it be university or high school or otherwise. And we also know that we have peak periods during, in terms of tourism, during the winter months, so starting in November and the others. And so I think when we look at them in May and November, we have to be very, very careful that we're not getting over jubilant or overly depressed. And what I would say is there's positive news in terms of where we see there is actually development in employment. But we know that we're not growing at a rate fast enough to absorb those who are entering. And I think when we only do it twice a year, what we tend to do is miss the trends that are taking place. The United States, Canada, England, Europe, most of them publish job statistics on a monthly basis. And that allows you to at least observe a trend that is taking place. So where are those periods when jobs are being created and what activity is taking place? The other side I will say is we have to just be optimistic but cautious as it relates to temporary employment. Because when persons take the survey, they're not saying whether this is long-term employment. And when you talk to the man on the street, he is looking for stability. He is looking for the ability to provide for his family and not worry whether or not he will have employment in a month's time and his contract is ended. So I think that we get too much into, I'm going to say, the political football sometimes when we talk about the employment statistics, and we don't think about the actual individuals that are impacted, meaning the actual employees. And I think when we look at the economy, it is going in an upward trajectory. Not as fast as we'd like it to be, but there is positive news and we should take advantage of that.
So let's talk about that some. The DPM cited that they have created 10,000 jobs since 2017. Have we seen that actually happen?
You know, I always say economics is not a science but an art in terms of sentiment. And if you ask the individual on the street, have they felt that development? What they would say is when you're talking about a burgeoning economy, it is when you have employment available whenever seeking it. And persons are still out there actively pursuing employment. It's not to discount the numbers themselves, but we've heard this before in previous administrations, the touting of these jobs. And there are a couple of questions that go along with it. One, are those permanent jobs, as I said before? Two, are those jobs that are being developed sufficiently, what I'm going to say, worthy? Because are they low-skilled, low-paying, minimum wage jobs, or are they developing or creating an environment for persons to actually develop and save and become in that middle class and actually help to expand the economy? Thirdly, I think it's important that we step back and think about the number in the sense of, well, what is the net new number? And is that at a point in time? So if I took that same survey a month later, is that 10,900 going to be 9,900 because persons who were on contract at the time are no longer engaged? So it is, I think, it is not to try and overshadow what they believe is negative information. I think it's more about explaining. So we've seen an increase from 10 to 10.7 overall. Persons are naturally saying, oh, the economy is going backwards. But I think it's more important to start to explain what those numbers actually mean. So when we're looking at them, it's not about saying whether it's positive or negative. It is saying, are we moving in the right direction? Are we going as fast as we should? And that is more important than trying to dispel what I'm going to say criticism, which is unwarranted as well.
So let's talk about that then. From your opinion, this is your opinion alone, are we going in the right direction?
I think we are. What we now see is businesses are at least of a mindset of saying, well, no longer holding back the change. There are some still struggling, so don't get me wrong. But by and large, you are seeing optimism to say that there's more money circulating in the economy. When you see tourism developing in that regard, there is the money coming in from that industry, but that permeates throughout the economy. And as you get spend taking place, that's when the economy grows. So I know it's difficult to fathom that if you don't have a dollar in the pocket, spending it will help the economy grow, but that is what stimulates. And I think at this point in time, persons are not, if you will, hiding money or pulling back. Persons are at least comfortable enough to spend where they can.
That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. And then the other good thing that we kind of heard is a bit different, but I also think it's relevant, is that, you know, the government had talked about this business license process, and they wanted to get it turned around in 5 days. And we know that ease of doing business has been a challenge for business owners, and therefore a challenge that compounds the issues with the economy. Now that they're getting that done in quicker than 5 days, what do you think that will mean for us in the long term?
Well, business license sort of stops everything if you don't get it.
Right.
I mean, having it really doesn't do a lot other than holding up on the wall, but without it, it causes a problem. And so what it means is clearing items in customs, being able to transact with various government agencies, being able to do business with government agencies. What it does is it creates economic productivity. And I think in terms of holding back, when before it was simply going through a validation process that should be relatively quick for smaller businesses. The larger ones are still having to go through the validation exercise, and that's understood, but the business license is actually valid up until the end of March, so it's not that they are unlicensed at this point in time, it's simply that they're in the application process. So I think any strides we make in that regard should be commended, and certainly look to how we automate and more efficiently run the process. So kudos to them in that.
Excellent, excellent. The next question I'm going to ask you, I really want to get in before we go. A little different, but still important. Sarkis has had a major win in New York in their Supreme Court, and they upheld his fraud and breach of contract claim against China Construction America regarding Bahamas. That's obviously New York. Obviously, we're a different jurisdiction. But what does that mean for us? What does it mean for Bahamas?
Well, it is something that's been in the news regarding the Bahamas and certain activity that has taken place. I think we should not get involved in what I'm going to call private sector or two private entities that are battling, but it does speak to elements that we don't repeat. So how do we regulate and govern such a large project where government has a significant interest, or the Bahamian people, by concessions and other elements that we contribute into it? It's important to understand that that ruling is only saying that a defense has to be presented. It's not saying that there is already a guilt assigned to either party in that regard. So from that perspective, it's going to be another drawn-out process. The Bahamas doesn't like to be in the news for negative purposes, but you know what is also important is that we have a judicial process that we respect. So whilst it was taken out in a jurisdiction outside of the Bahamas, I think we should look to learn lessons from it, because if there are any missteps, whether intentional or otherwise, then we know how to improve the process going forward, and that can only be a benefit to us.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Gowan.
problem.
Always a pleasure to have you with us. I always learn so much. Always think that you bring a wonderful perspective of neutrality and fairness to the conversation, and so I appreciate that.
Elevate the debate is my thing.
Elevate the debate. Oh, we got quotes today, Phil. And thanks again for joining us. Speaking with Gowan Bo about the economy, we're going to be back with more Bahamas at Sunrise after this commercial break.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Hi, I'm Davriel, and welcome to Rev Tips, where we answer your most important Rev service questions. Today's question is, how do I set up a Rev My Account? It's super easy. To create a Rev My Account, simply visit www.cablebahamas.com and click the My Account icon. Next, select the Create Account option. Please have a copy of your latest statement on hand. Enter the information as it appears on the statement to the respective areas on the form. When you've finished, click Create Account to continue with the process. Once you've registered your account, you can use your username and password to check your account balance, view past statements, and pay your bill online. And that's your wrap tip for this week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next time.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Bahamas at Sunrise. Certainly an informative show star. You made it.
I made it.
You did well.
By the grace of God.
Absolutely.
I didn't sneeze on TV, and I'm very grateful.
Didn't even have to wipe your nose once. Love this bib, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. He's learning new terminology.
I just learned that today, actually. But listen, have a wonderful week, and we shall see you again very soon.
Bye.
Bye.
What's happening in New York?